Hello there. My name is Kala Krishnan, and I am a senior planner with the Best Neighborhoods Division of the Neighborhood Services Department. Today, I wanted to talk to you about applying for the Neighborhood Vitality and Beautification Grant Program and some practices that will help you in submitting a more complete application. But first, let's briefly go over some reminders about the grant program. To be eligible, the project that you apply for must support neighborhood goals, be highly visible from the public realm, and be accessible to the public. In other words, the improvement should not be for the neighborhood group alone, but it should be available for anyone to enjoy. We would love to see the community get involved in your project. The improvement must enhance the appearance of the neighborhood, and of course, it needs to be within the Plano city limits. As always, there are two grant cycles, a spring cycle with a January 1st pre-application deadline and February 1st full application deadline, and the fall cycle with a July 1st pre-application deadline and August 1st full application deadline. We also have two levels of grants, small grants up to $2,000 and larger ones between $2,000 and $10,000. Now remember that these funds are available as a match. Depending on the size of grant request and the type of neighborhood group, the city and the neighborhood contribution will vary. For voluntary groups, their share will be 30% of the total pre-tax costs on small grants and 40% on large grants. For mandatory groups, it is 50% for both small and large grant requests. And as you know, eligible projects include the following: median improvements, street sign toppers, entryway landscaping, lighting improvements, HOA-owned screening wall repairs, entryway signage, as well as irrigation improvements and landscape improvements. Now remember that these are improvements and not maintenance or repairs. You will be submitting your application through Zoom Grants. The link to access the portal is found on the bottom of the Beautification Grant page of our website. When you click on the link located at the bottom of the page, you will be asked to either log on if you already have an account, or you will be asked to create a new one. Once in, you will be able to access the pre-application. As a reminder, the pre-application deadline is July 1st and the full application deadline is August 1st. It is highly encouraged to carefully review the grant guidelines found on the right side of the page under Quick Links. So now, we would like to go over some things that we have seen in the past that we would like for you to keep in mind when submitting your application. First, remember that the grant does not cover maintenance costs. It is assumed that the neighborhood group has a sustainable source of income to address repairs and maintenance. Landscape maintenance, such as trimming, mowing, edging, etc., are not eligible projects, nor are maintenance and repair costs for community buildings or facilities or for irrigation. Regarding the grant itself, there is a limit of $50,000 that can be awarded within a 5-year period to any one neighborhood group. Now, should you reach that limit before the 5 years are up, you would be considered a Tier 2 applicant. What does this mean? It simply means that your application will be looked at once all other Tier 1 applications have been considered. If you apply, you may still be awarded as a Tier 2 applicant if funds are still available after all Tier 1 applicants have been awarded. But if funds are not available after Tier 1 applicants have been awarded, then you will not be awarded any funds. So start early. I cannot stress this enough. This will give staff an opportunity to review and make adjustments early on before the deadline. Ensure that the bids that you include in your application are fairly recent, not older than 2 months. We will determine your grant award amount based on these bids, and that is what you will see in your notice to proceed. Of course, if there are any extenuating circumstances, you can discuss them with your program coordinator. With regard to volunteer hours, we do not encourage volunteers to be performing tasks that would otherwise be handled by professionals. These could include such things as tree removal or screening wall work. And finally, all applications must be submitted by a board or member of the community. On reimbursements, please remember that the City of Plano does not reimburse on taxes. The taxes will have to be assumed by the neighborhood group. And if your final reimbursement includes many bills, please be sure to tally your pre-tax totals in a separate Excel sheet or Word document and submit with your reimbursement request. This will make it much easier on staff. And please do not include personal purchases on the same bills that you submit for your reimbursement. If you can take care of these two things, the reimbursement process will be much faster. Be sure to include clear before and after photos. Now on volunteers, be sure to document the hours spent by your volunteers. We need to know the total number of volunteers, total hours spent, and the days that they worked. Please be sure to also include work photos. And as mentioned, the city will not reimburse amounts greater than what is mentioned in your notice to proceed, even if the final costs are greater than the original bids. So I hope this was helpful. Of course, do feel free to reach out to me should you have any more questions or concerns with the Beautification Grant Program. Here is my contact information. I look forward to hearing from you, and good luck.